they'll be discussing the penalty that wasn't for them and the one that was, and the red card that was, that went Bournemouth's way. So 2-2 to kick us off this weekend. Brighton, Liverpool, 12:30 tomorrow, followed by Fulham, Burnley at 3. And then we've got 2 live games for you, 5:30, Everton, Chelsea and Leeds, Brentford at 8 o'clock. And then Sunday, 3 more live games. From midday, it's Newcastle looking for revenge against Sunderland. And then at 2:15, 2 crunch games. Aston Villa chasing Champions League, West Ham fighting for survival, and it is a relegation crunch meeting between Spurs and Nottingham Forest. All 3 of those games live with us on Sunday. So another point for Manchester United. They have 4 above Aston Villa, 6 above Liverpool and 7 now above Chelsea, but all those sides with the chance to make inroads on Manchester United this weekend, and for Bournemouth they stay there in 10th place. Yeah, he scored within 6 minutes of that game and 8 minutes tonight, having come off the bench with that penalty, and that was the final say in the contest. And when you look at these match facts, you can pretty much see why it was a draw, because there wasn't too much between them at all, was it? One thing to point out, Manchester United had 11 shots in the first half, just 3 in the second half, and in fact after Bruno Fernandes's penalty they didn't have a single shot, so that was after 61 minutes, the penalty, so he didn't have a shot for the last 38 minutes of the game, and Harry Maguire not sent off to till the 78, so that might be a disappointing element of it for Michael Carrick, but a really entertaining second half. And you were saying, Andy, at half time that we just needed that little bit of magic. Was Cunha the player to deliver that, or the first player to deliver that anyway? Most definitely. And to be fair, I think that's the kind of player.
Bruno, it's another game unbeaten for Manchester United, but is there perhaps a sense of frustration that you're not going away with here with all 3 points?
I'm more disappointed because I think we did enough to get that 3 points. Obviously, we end up you had to finish the game with a lot of suffering and trying to not concede a goal. The frustration also came a little bit into ourselves, because obviously we had a situation where we could have gone 3-1 up, and from that situation we end up conceding another goal. I think we could have gone 2-0 and then we end up conceding a goal, not getting a penalty, and then we get a penalty against, where more or less it's the same situation as Ahmad. One is rewarded as a penalty, the other one not. I know it's difficult for the referee to give 2 penalties in the same game for the same team, but what I don't understand is why VAR doesn't get involved in that situation, and or either way in the situation of Ari, because either one is a penalty and the other one too, or none of them is a penalty.
I can understand, and we don't want to get you into trouble with the authorities, but is there a frustration that, can you see similarities between the one that's not given for you and the one that sees Harry pick up a red card and is given?
Yeah, because I think Ahmad is getting to a point where he's going to shoot, and he gets pushed or pulled. I can't exactly see how it happens, but you can see that is there something that gets him completely out of balance, and obviously I think it's very frustrating for the small players, because they always say he's very soft on the small players, and when he's in a bigger player, they say they end up giving the falls. I do think that on the Ari situation it is a penalty, but I think in the Ahmad one is also a penalty, and obviously that could have changed the game.
You mentioned having to sit and suffer a little bit, especially with 10 men, but the fact that you were able to do that and still come away from this game with something, does that tell us how Manchester United have evolved since Michael Carrick and his backroom team have come in?
No, I think that's always been part of the club. It doesn't change who's the manager in charge. Obviously, in the last period, we've been very positive with the results, and obviously that gives more of positive energy to the team to understand that we can get results anywhere we go. It's been very important for us in the last period with Michael, because we've been in a very good form, and obviously today we had to suffer, we had to run a little bit more, and we did it. We end up getting a point. It's not everything negative from the game, so we got something from it.
Clearly, getting a Champions League spot for next season is the aim. Whatever happens with the other results this weekend, you go into the international break, you will be third. Could it be higher than third, the way this Manchester United team are playing and believing in themselves come the end of the season?
No, what it could be better is that in the next game we have to get the 3 points that we didn't got today. That's all. We need to go game by game because Premier League is very tough. We have a lot of competition to play against in this moment because Villa is very close to us, Liverpool and Chelsea also, so we need to be aware of that. But our aim is looking forward and try to get the 3 points. Not that we're not going to be looking at them, but we know that we have to run away from them, and the best way to do is getting points. And if you're going to get closer to the one in front of you, you still have to get the 3 points.
And just very finally, earlier this year, all of you as a team, the whole club had to take a lot of criticism. You had to suffer a lot of weight on your shoulders from all directions. Is there now a new feeling around Manchester United? Is this a real good feeling and what Manchester United stand for and are about?
No, it's gonna always be like that. When you get results, you're gonna get your flowers. When you don't get the results, you're gonna get the criticism. It's part of being a Man United player. You play for a top club where the demand is very high from everywhere, from everyone. You know that you're gonna have a lot of people with the eyes on our club because of the club is massive and social-wise even more. So it's a lot of eyes looking for us. But if you decide to play for this club and if you are at this club, it's because you are a big player and you have to have a big personality to be here, understanding that it's going to be highs and lows, and you have to deal with them in the same way.
Brilliant. Appreciate your time. Thank you
very much.
Michael, very dramatic second half in particular today. There'll be some regret probably that you haven't won the game.
Yeah, we're disappointed. Obviously, the way I thought we created enough opportunities and had some good chances, and then go up in the game and have a big opportunity to go 2-0 up really, and we get one penalty, we don't get the other. It's exactly the same thing really. A grab, two-hand grab, and we get one, we don't get the other, which I don't know. Well, he's definitely got one wrong, so I don't know which one he's got wrong, but he doesn't give us the second one, which I think they're both penalties. And it's a massive moment in the game, and then it ends up chaos after that. So yeah, massive moment in the game, and I don't understand how you can give one and not the other. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good point, and obviously the ball's in the back of your net while that check is going on, which just adds to the kind of chaos.
Yeah, well, it's just as obvious as you can get when you've already given one, to not give the other one. It's clear. If that's what you believe is a penalty to start with, then the second one has to be. I don't understand how you can't give that, and then obviously to go back and not give it then, and the goal and everything, and after that it was just chaos really. So I was really pleased with the boys at the end, going through the 10 men and seeing the game out and taking a point from it. I think that's a real positive. And, in the end, the way it went, at times you can lose them type of games. So to take a point in the end, we'll take that. But obviously we're disappointed that we haven't taken all three.
Do you feel that the penalty and a red card was a bit harsh for what Harry actually did?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it ended up chaos at that time, so decisions going different ways, and he's made that decision. Ours should have been a penalty. We should have had 2 penalties, and that wouldn't have happened.
Then you've got 10 minutes at the end of normal time and 10 minutes added time at the end with 10 men. Actually, you've done pretty well to get a point out of that 20 minutes. That's a tough 20.
Yeah, especially in credit to Bournemouth, the way they play and really energetic and positive and run forward and pass forward and constantly test you. So to go with 10 men for so long and have to make changes, and I thought the boys coming off the bench and finishing the game did ever so well. Credit to them for that. We're delighted with the way they went about that and seeing off the last moments really, which could have been really difficult, but I thought we coped with it really well.
You've now got a long time without a game. Obviously, this is the international break, but I think you go 24 days or something without playing. Is that a problem? Is that an issue, or is it an opportunity to just reset and have a bit of a break?
It is what it is. It's not a problem. It's we'll deal with it, and boys are going away, and it feels a lot because of the international break. But the international break is we miss one weekend, so we'll deal with that. We've got to be ready for Leeds when it comes.
So, Michael, first of all, can we ask you for your reflections on that 90-plus minutes tonight from your perspective?
Yeah, a lot happened in the end. I thought we had good chances, really, good opportunities, some good chances, some really good opportunities that probably didn't lead to the chance. But I thought we had enough to be ahead and a little bit more comfortable in the game. We found the goal. Should have had another penalty. If you get one, you must get the other. It's pretty much identical for me, 2-hand grab, and so he's either way he's got one wrong. But to give one and not give the others, I just can't get my head around it. I think it's crazy. And then obviously because of that, it goes the other end. They score, and then it's chaos after that, really. So disappointed with not winning the game after being up, but under the circumstances, with 10 men for what ended up being some sort of added time, which we haven't seen for a while, decided to bring that one back. We managed that really well again, and we're really comfortable in managing that in the way we did it. So I was really pleased with the way the boys finished the game, and easy to let that game slip away. And they kept their heads really well and took the point, which in the end we'll take the point and we'll move on. But just the decision for the penalty, I just can't understand how you can be so one and the other and give one and not. It's mental.
Now, the last thing we want you to do is get you into trouble with the authorities, but obviously that was two huge talking points. The one with Ahmed and then the one with Harry. How much of a similarity between both did you see from your perspective?
Where do you start, really? Listen, maybe he's past Harry, so maybe that's the decision, right? And he gives that, but I haven't really actually got too much of a problem. I haven't seen it back, to be totally truthful, but I think if he's past him and he's in on goal, then I can understand that decision. So I'm not going, we deserve everything, but it shouldn't have happened, because we should have had another penalty and the game would have been different and totally different, and then it ended up chaos after that, kind of chasing decisions, really. So it is what it is.
How big are those moments at the highest level when things don't go your way?
Massive, absolutely massive. That's what VAR was for, to clean it up and make consistency. And if surely whatever they think, if one's already been given, there's enough people to decide that the other one should be the same as the first, either way, and it's two different decisions. So yeah, it's a bit baffling, really.
What it does mean, though, is it's still just the one defeat in 10 games since you took over. Whatever happens this weekend, you go into that international break in third. Do you sense that the momentum is very much with you to achieve what you're trying to achieve this year, is ensuring Champions League football for this club?
We're in a good place, we're in a decent place. We know it's for now. Of course, we need to take the breather, and some lads, obviously a lot of the boys going away, and come back strong, and we got a big finish to the season. We've put ourselves in this position through some good work, some good results, and some good performances, and we could have had more tonight. In the end, it went against us, but we still took the point. It's not the end of the world by any stretch, and we'll come back stronger after the break. We touched on it pre-game, but a lot of people are speaking about it, a rejuvenated Manchester United, a Manchester United that's playing in the style and producing the results that people expect. Has it even superseded your expectations coming into what was a difficult position, Michael? No, I think we came in and I came to work with the boys and trying to make the best of it, and trying to keep improving and work with them and develop the team, develop the players, and work with the staff. And I think we've made some improvements. There's things we can improve on. We can get a lot better. Still a short period of time relative, and we've made a lot of steps. So I'm happy the way things have gone, but we're not satisfied. We definitely want more. Mike, appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
You expect off as well. First touch here, impeccable first touch here. Drives, and then he straightens Jimenez up and just flicks it inside, that little bit of Brazilian flair, and gets himself a penalty.
It's a brilliant skill, Jamie. Brilliant, because what it is the lift. Because most defenders will put their foot out and leave it on the floor, and they just see it with his right foot there. He just lifts it over his foot there, then Jimenez can't react, and then it's just pure panic. Like, it's hard to say, why are you holding him? You just got to let him go. He's done you. You've got your centre-back's going to come across and give you a little bit of help, but sometimes that's just the panic. He's been out-skilled, and that's what happens sometimes. 100% a penalty, and then the man you want to take it, Andy?
He is the guy when it comes to penalties. Like you saying, I don't know how he does it. Stops, and then watches the goalkeeper moving and strokes it home.
The Ivan
talent
Toney
himself.
technique.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, so that was, the guys think no doubt about that penalty. And then there was a penalty appeal just before Bournemouth equalised. So Manchester United thought they should have had another penalty here when Ahmad goes through. Jamie, what's your verdict on this?
I think it would have been really harsh. I think that you can see Truffaut is being aggressive with him. He does manhandle him a bit, but I just don't think it's enough for it to be a penalty. Then Bournemouth break. Now you can probably, in the VAR room, you can see the referee, they're thinking, is it a penalty, is it not? Let's hope this doesn't end up in a goal. Bournemouth work it really, really well. You see, I think Casemiro here goes out too far. He leaves Christie in a good position, lets it run across his body, good touch, and that is a sublime finish. It's so good. You loved this, Andy, didn't you?
Oh, it's a finish that I look and say to myself, that's the kind of thing I want to do, just stroke it in the corner. And then you look at his pickle turn and say, well, there's no power in it. He doesn't need any power because he knows what he's doing, knows what he wants. This guy's in the bottom corner.
Just steers it in for his first home goal for almost 2 years. Here's another look at Ahmad. Andy, what's your take on this?
I was saying in today's game for me, it's a penalty. Yeah. When we were playing, no chance, absolute no chance.
Why do you think it is a penalty?
Because physical, it's very physical in today's game. And we're going to see the other penalty in a minute, and where Harry Maguire gets sent off. You turn and say to yourself, well, if I'm in that position, I'm not going down anyway. So for me, that's not a penalty, but it is what it is.
We will have another look at this in just a moment in context with the one that went Bournemouth's way, but Bournemouth having got themselves back in the game, that parity only lasted for 4 minutes because you were sort of worried about them from set pieces, Jamie.
Well, they're not necessarily a big side. That's the problem. You've got your two centre-backs, Senesi and Hill. Hill can head the ball, but if you can almost take him out of the equation, it's difficult. And in that instance, Senesi, number 5, he gets a great leap. He gets his first touch, and you can see Hill, it just unfortunately hits him on the side of the face. Manchester United at that point to bring on Sesko as well, so they've got a lot of height, and that becomes the panic. I mean, they leave Rayan, who looks 6'3" at least. He's one of the players that doesn't get into the box. So you've got to really defend well from corners. They have done. They haven't really been exploited that often, but obviously that was a big moment in the game. And then Bournemouth get this moment. Tavernier, brilliant. Lends it to Ivan Nilsson. Nice little bit of movement. Krupi then comes into the space, plays it. Ivan Nilsson takes a great first touch across Harry Maguire, and Harry just gets his arm out. And I know what everyone else is saying, well, what's the difference? I think the difference is he's going in goal. He's denied a goal-scoring opportunity. It obviously means it's going to be a red card. And Harry's just, because of his momentum, has just put his arm out. It's extremely harsh, but I could see why he's given that one.
Andy, come in on this?
Very harsh. First and foremost, the interplay between the two boys up front. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Once he gets himself in there, I'm saying to myself here, I've not got no time to go down.
Because it's a really good touch. He's in on goal.
It's a great touch. So I'm thinking, I'm not going down. I'm going to finish myself. But, like I said, today's game, you go down, you've got a great opportunity of getting a penalty, and unfortunately for Manchester United, Harry Maguire gets sent off as well.
So let's have a...
I mean, it is hard. I mean, the more you watch it, it's so... And what's the amazing...
What's the difference between the two?
That's the thing. That's the thing. And I think normally, because he's not given
Here's the
that
one again, Jamie.
Because he's not given this one, I think it's probably human nature to not give the other one. But he's decided not to. Look, I just think that's really hot. There's the same thing. Ahmad's just too weak. He goes down.
But you say that. Evan Nilsson was weak as well.
But is Ahmad through on goal? And Evan Nilsson is through on goal. Is that the difference?
It's exactly the same thing. They're both gone down weakly. Yeah, the referees decided to give one and not the other. But we're asking the question, what is the difference? Because for me, there is no difference.
Let's have a look at the actual penalty, though, because
brilliant.
He looked nervous, didn't he, in the actual
he looked
those
when he
moments
stuck it in a net like that. He obviously wasn't. This is brilliant. Look at his technique. I mean, Andy, you as a forward, that's brilliant, isn't it? You like him as well, don't you?
That is top draw for a young man. What's he, 18?
19 years old, and that's his 9th goal of the season, the highest scoring teenager in the Premier League.
Even before that...
Just come on as well, didn't he?
Just come on. I like what once the penalty had been given, he's a young man, Ivan Nilsson's on the pitch. He ran over to Lemons and just nicked the ball off him. He said, I'm taking this. I think that shows you and tells you everything about him. 19 years of age, another one. The recruitment at Bournemouth is so good.
Yeah.
And he's a sensational young player.
Really nervous, as you could see there. Let's see.
So Bruno Fernandes asking the exact same question I just asked the two of you a little bit earlier on. Why is one a penalty and the other is not given? I think he seems to be confused there because he says one should be given or none, both should be given or none should be given.
Do you know what? He's got a valid point. He has got a valid point. And if I'm in that dressing room, I'm saying exactly the same thing after this match. And the only thing I can get, obviously, allude to the fact of that the referee gave one, not the other. And whether you agree with it or not, I don't think the VAR is going to go against the referee in these decisions. The two penalties could be given or not given in a way, do you know, because of how soft they are. For some people it's a pen, for other people it's not. So I don't think the VAR are going to intervene and go against the referee in any of them situations.
Well, unless it's a obvious error, and I don't think they thought that there was and agreed with the weight of the on-field decision.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Bruno either. I think that's the tricky thing. You look at one and look at the other and think there's actually not much in it. There's more in the Maguire-Evan-Nielsen one. I think Truffet's just got to be careful. I think when you put the hands on a player, and again, he's not trying to play the ball, is he? I mean, the only thing I just think Ahmad goes down a little bit too easy. He obviously feels the contact and he goes down too easily. Could he maybe have got a shot off or played a little reverse pass into, is it Cunha there? I mean, this one, Harry's he gets done by the ball and the touch, and then he just gets caught wrong side. So then your natural reaction is to reach out.
Owen, do you think this one is a bigger decision to not give because of where it is in the 18-yard box? For example, Ahmad's coming inside his pure bodies. It could be blocked. It could have a shot that goes wide, for example. There you clear through one-on-one. Does that play into the referee's mind, you
probably.
think?
I think Bruno made a really good point. I think once he's already give one, I don't think they'll give another one unless it's an absolute stonewaller. So I know they probably don't like us saying that.
Yeah.
But I think it does come into play. You think I've already give one, I shouldn't really give another one. It's an away game.
Yeah.
The second one is obviously clearer. So I think Bruno's right, but in the end, I think they came to the right call on both.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how much of a factor do you think Bruno's comments about already giving them a penalty would have been. Now, we've heard from the Manchester United captain. Let's hear from the manager. Here's Michael Carrick's post-match thoughts.
Thanks, mate. Well. So when you look at this, Andy, a point gained or 2 dropped?
From the positions Manchester United found themselves in, 2 dropped. But, going away with a point is better than going away with nothing.
It just gives everyone else that little flicker of hope again, doesn't it?
Yeah, but this isn't the title race. When you look at Arsenal and Man City, they're going they're going head on, and Man City just faltered a little bit of late. But when you look at the other sides, Chelsea are dropping points, Liverpool are dropping points to Tottenham Hotspurs last week. Aston Villa have gone on a bit of a bad run. So it might end up not being a bad point, but it just all depends. It can flip very quickly. If the other teams win, if Chelsea go to Everton this weekend, get 3 points, all of a sudden they're straight back into it again. So I think up until the end of the season, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns in that top 4. Looks like 5 race. So time will tell. But I always just feel, not just because I watched so much of Bournemouth. Anytime you get anything against them, it's not the worst result. We've seen Liverpool go there and get chinned last minute.
Well,
they are such an excellent side. They're unbelievable. They're so fit, strong, the way they get after teams, great energy, good interchange, as Andy said. They're so hard to play against. So you've always sort of just got to take what you can when you go there. They've been excellent in both games against them this season.
And lose very few games at home as well. I suppose, we talk about Michael Carrick, and obviously the conversation continues to be around him because it is such a big job being the Manchester United manager, and right now its position seems vacant. If there were any questions, Andy, would they be around, if you look at the results where they haven't won the games, the away form in recent weeks, they've won one of their last 4 away games, dropping points at West Ham, losing at Newcastle, dropping points against Bournemouth. Would they need too much joy tonight because they'll feel like this is 2 points dropped from the positions they got themselves in? And Bruno made the point as well that those were the same incidents, and if one's a penalty, then the other one should be a penalty as well. Andy thought the foul on Ahmad was a penalty, albeit perhaps soft. Jamie, can you explain why you think this was not given and not overturned as well by VAR?
I just think because if you look at where Truffel is and you can see Senesi number 5, he's coming back. There's 2 players round him there. I just think one's not denying a definite goal-scoring opportunity. I think he just could be a little bit stronger. He's going over a little bit too easily. And as I say, there's bodies round there. Now, if he had given it, would we have gone, that's the worst penalty decision ever? No, it's not. I just don't personally think it is. And then you roll it onto this one, and I just feel because Evan Nilsson is going into the goal-scoring area to score, or probably score. And I just think that it's still weak, but I think that's maybe the slightest difference on the two of them.
It's an opportunity to score, isn't it? And then the referee, Stuart Atwell, has got to make a couple of decisions with regard to Harry Maguire. Has he made a deliberate attempt to play the ball? Has he denied a goal-scoring opportunity? And if he thinks that he hasn't, he's done the first and he hasn't done the second, then it's a red card, isn't it, Andy?
Well, yeah. Obviously, that's why he's made a decision, to send him off, because he's believed he's done just that. But when you talk about going down easily, he's gone down really easily. Then, as a manager, of course, you're going to be disappointed. Bruno's disappointed in that as well, because you're looking at both of them, you try and say to yourself, so break it down. What is the difference? Because they've both gone down easily, but what is the difference? Yeah, I get the sending off one. I get that, but if we're talking about the penalty itself, why is one given and one's not?
The other thing that Andy makes a great point with is, why even are you wanting to go down there? You are going through to see the whites of the goalkeeper's eyes. It's a mate. They don't. You would never have tried to do that. You'd have just thought, I'm going to go through. This is obviously not the one, but this is. That's the bit that amazes me. But I just think they're both incredibly soft.
What about the decision from VAR actually to stay out of both? What do you think about that? Because essentially we're saying that the referee is the one who's making the decisions, the arbiter, which is, I think, where we probably all wanted to get to in football, that VAR was a little bit too heavy.
Mostly because they didn't want to make that call.
Oh, can you imagine the panic in the room with the first one when he's got the ball, just thinking, please don't score, please don't score.
Exactly.
Harry's been caught all ends up as well. Brilliant play by Bournemouth. Andy said it himself.
I love that.
That's great interchange.
He's been caught by the pace and the touch.
Pace, the touch, everything. And you can just see it there. And then all of a sudden, this panic, he puts his left arm out, right arm out. But it's not a great deal. But I guess when he's going at that pace, going through clean on goal, I feel like the more that you see it, you think it is a penalty. The more that you see it, you think it's not a penalty. Yes. The other thing, Ange, is that the referee, I think he probably sees him going down, thinking, well, why is he going down if he's going through clean on goal? That's the other bit.
It's like, in my head, I'm saying to myself, well, okay, you try to put me out my stride. I get it, but I ain't got no time for that. I'm going to finish it off myself. But like I was saying off air, it's so easy to go down now and get a penalty because guaranteed 9 times out of 10, you're going to get one. So why stay on your feet?
Yeah.
Michael Carrick pretty much echoing what Bruno Fernandes had said about the 2 penalties, also aggrieved at the fact that they then had a player sent off. But he mentioned a very interesting point as well there, Gary, about the timing of the penalty decision on Ahmad, and then Bournemouth literally went up the other end and scored when it could have been 2-0.
Yes, it's a game-changing decision, isn't it? It's such a huge decision because, like you said, 2-0 and then the next minute it's 1-1. So I can feel his frustration, I really can. And both himself and Fernandes is not arguing about the penalty that they conceded, but obviously they're looking at it in 2 aspects like we've just seen then and saying, well, if that's given, then surely that has to be given. So I feel sorry for him. I really understand his frustration, and they are huge, huge moments for a referee and the VAR, particularly because obviously 2-0 and 1-1 is a totally different game.
Yeah, absolutely. Manchester United dropping points for just the 3rd time under Michael Carrick. Where does that leave them in the race for Champions League? Still confident enough and comfortable enough?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think with the win, they probably would have been certain, I think, in terms of top 5, and that gap to Chelsea would have been significant. But I think they'll obviously take the point. They preferred 3. They're in such a brilliant position. You think I think they were 5th when Ruben left. But I just think the football they played has been better. Everybody's happy. They're getting results, obviously, today. But that's against a good Bournemouth team as well. Yeah. And the point the reporter made about playing for 20 minutes with 10 men, I thought they dealt with that really well. So I think in every phase, they're playing better, they're getting points, they're managing games better as well. Obviously, 3 would have been a lot nicer, but they control their own destiny for Champions League football, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, still comfortable in the race for Champions League with Aston Villa, Liverpool and Chelsea still to play. That's all we have time for, and we've kicked off match week 31 in the Premier League in some style. A 4-goal thriller. It'll be a tough act to follow. Plenty of football to come this weekend. Thank
League, you've equalled a club record. We know that you lost Antoine Semenyo to Manchester City. I mean, what does it say about Bournemouth that you've managed to dig in and stay on the heels of some of the so-called bigger clubs?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a collective mentality. A lot was made about the players we lost in the summer as well, and the club did ever so well to basically not make such a big deal about it and replace them with players that were ready to go. And the managers made it pretty seamless for them to come in and understand our style of football. So delighted with the season so far. We're desperate to kind of kick on now and really have something to fight for come the end of the season.
You've had
So 11 games unbeaten in the Premier League now, a joint best for Bournemouth, and they had to battle back on 2 occasions, Owen. Manchester United taking the lead, the first time from the penalty spot. There are a couple of penalty incidents and we have a lot to get through. Was the first one the correct call for you?
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of magic from Cunha. I mean, he's obviously, I think he wants to play in that little number 10 position, but he's good on this left-hand side. Can't believe he chests this, by the way. I mean, honestly, that is a brilliant. And then this little skill to come in between the two, Jimenez and Scott, that is brilliant. And it's just, Jimenez has been terrific in a Bournemouth shot. He's a young, naive defender, but that control is fantastic. Keeps it close. Wants to come inside. Scott can't overcover there, which he does. And you see Jimenez just pulling there, guys. I mean, there's...
Yeah, I just want to come in from a defensive point of view. I mean, I couldn't believe he's made the decision to pull his shirt, to be honest. When he's in that situation, he's past him, he has to leave him, he has to rely on cover. And there was cover with James Hill there. So it was a gift from a Manchester United point of view, a real gift. And obviously, but you're very confident when Bruno steps up on a penalty spot and he tucks it away. But disappointing from the Bournemouth point of view. It's a little bit of ill-discipline there, I thought.
Yeah, that's 9 goal involvements for Bruno Fernandes at that point in 9 games against Bournemouth. Who else but him? It's 1-0 at that point. A bit of controversy around the equaliser. Let's take a look at it, because I think Manchester United thought they should have had a second penalty, and the goal comes soon after that. This is the moment, the incident, and the referee said no penalty on this occasion. Am I being pulled down?
Yes, I didn't think it was a penalty at the time, to be honest. And when I saw it back, I stick by my first thought. Gut instinct was it wasn't a penalty, and I don't think it was.
Yeah, and there's 25 seconds between that penalty call and appeal from United and the equalising goal from Bournemouth.
Yeah, Ryan was great on that right-hand side, comes inside. And to be fair, it's just a great finish from Ryan Christie. There's weaker right, he just passes it into the goal. We see Ahmad here with true foot. He probably goes down too easy, Ahmad.
Yeah, there's not enough in that for me.
No.
There's not
he kind of has a little pull, but he lets go. And I think, and on this one here, does really well. Ryan comes inside, plays it quickly. Casemiro, you see him come across. He's got Christie, but he gets out to the ball carrier, and nobody really fills in for him. Maybe Harry could step up, or Euro. They're a little bit too late, but take nothing away from the finish. In between the legs of Harry Maguire, see it here on this angle. And that's the thing, you don't need to smash it.
Yeah.
Just pass it into the goal. No chance for Lambs.
That was a quality in the goal, wasn't it? The pass. Just fed it through there and just put it into the bottom corner. But once Euro's gone out there, I thought, go again. He's closed that gap a couple of yards. He needs to close it a couple more yards to try and block the shot, but take nothing away from that finish. That was a brilliant finish.
Yeah, flurry of activity, because there was to be a quick response from United, a third goal in the game in the space of 10 minutes. Let's look at how Bruno Fernandes once again gets involved.
Yeah, he's brilliant. To be fair, he's the one who played a brilliant ball over the top for Ahmad for that potential penalty. But, they're so unlucky, Bournemouth, here, because I think the 2 centre-backs are involved. Kobbie Mainoo gets a little bump on the goalkeeper. I think Senesi initially flicks it, and then it comes off James Hill at the back. But he's just whipping it into a dangerous area, isn't he?
It's difficult to get out of the way of that. It's almost like like you said, the centre-back combining there in not so great manner. I think Harry Maguire was key in that as well. I think he was so physical. He was so physical against James Hill there, all the way to the very end, and then he just sees it too late. He can't get his head out of the way, and unfortunately for him and Bournemouth, it went in the back of the net.
Yeah, we did think that he was the one who scored the way he went off and celebrated.
He was trying to claim it, wasn't he?
But then definitely an own goal. Let's look at a moment here where you thought this was absolutely brilliant. I think it was Scott hitting the post.
Yeah, I just love how quickly he turns. As it comes into him, he's turning, so checks his shoulder. That's exceptional. No chance for the goalkeeper, but he's just really unlucky. Great touch.
Got the technique here as well.
Clear picture. Oh, it's
almost like that knuckle ball. The goalkeeper's very lucky. But like what Owen says, to find that pocket of space, it's a turn, touch out his feet and shot. It's all within 3 touches of the football, and that was very, very unlucky. What a strike that was.
Yeah, Bournemouth were to have another opportunity, and it came from the penalty spot. Let's look at the moment that led to it, and the red card for Harry Maguire as well. Did you agree with this
First of all, the ball from Tavernier is brilliant, and he just gets caught wrong side. It's really good football from Bournemouth. They were much better in the second half, played a lot of tight passes, and I think Harry just gets, Yor gets out there, Harry's just wrong side, forward passing, forward runs. I mean, it's obviously a foul and it's a penalty on Evan Nielsen. I'm not a fan of that being a red card. It's a red card because he's not playing the ball, but I think a penalty is enough of a punishment. I don't think there's any question that's a penalty.
I agree, but at the same time I think the letter of the law is obviously if you don't attempt to play the ball, it's a red card, so by letter of the law it's a red card. But I agree, great play from Bournemouth's point of view, and it was all about that weight of pass into his feet and his first touch. It was a soft penalty for me, I've got to admit. I thought it was a really soft penalty, however it was a penalty just, and it had to be a red card obviously after that.
Evan Nielsen took a great touch as well.
Fantastic touch.
Took it forward. Often you see people right-footed, they'll take it that way, but because he took it forward, it just
the
put
thing
more
is,
pressure
if he takes the touch away, the defender gets a chance to go across and maybe put a blocking slide tackle. The minute he takes the touch across him, he's done. He either leaves it or does what Harry did there and almost scrambling to get a feel of the player, and obviously a penalty was awarded, but it was a great first touch.
So there are two big incidents in the second half. This is one, Evan Nielsen, that we've been talking about, brought down by Harry Maguire. Maguire earns a red card and they give them a penalty. How does that compare to Ahmed just a couple of moments before that? I know Manchester United fans are sitting at home wondering why one was given and the other one wasn't.
Well, let's see him. I mean, obviously we've just seen the Harry Maguire one and the Evan Nielsen. I think, true fair, he has a little small pull, but Ahmad, I think he just goes down too heavily because there's not that much contact. So I think the difference is there's more contact from Harry Maguire and Evan Nielsen, and I don't think you need to overdo it. I think if you probably would have gone down a little bit more naturally, he might have had more of a chance. But again, I think the one from Truffert on Ahmad, I think it was soft. I didn't see it as a penalty.
And I think that obviously with the on-field decision, with the Harry Maguire situation being given and that not, I think that was a decisive factor, because if that was given, I don't think the VAR, from a Manchester United point of view, if that was given, I don't think the VAR would overturn that. So I think that was a key factor in it as well. Yeah,
the weight of the on-field decision is exactly what swung it, and there was of them coming in the second 45 minutes, and that means for only the third time under Michael Carrick, Manchester United have dropped points, and they've lost that opportunity, having played first at the weekend, to make even more headway in that chase for Champions League football.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Obviously, the goals were in the second half, 4 goals. But I thought Man United were the better team in the first half, that Bournemouth were the better team in the second half. And it's probably a fair result looking on reflection, obviously, a couple penalties. But I thought either team probably could have won it. And we'll see the penalties later. But
United led twice, Bournemouth pegged them back twice, and that is the result of the 4-goal thriller that kicks off match week 31 in the Premier League. Plenty more to come on Saturday, including Brighton at home against Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea, and Leeds Brentford that ends the day, and then big stakes in the relegation battle all on Sunday. There is the Tyne-Wear derby between Newcastle and Sunderland, and then Aston Villa, West Ham, and Spurs, Nottingham Forest, in a 6-pointer at the bottom of the table, with the top two, of course, not in action this weekend due to them doing battle at Wembley on Sunday. So Manchester United have missed an opportunity to narrow that gap a little bit on Manchester City and hold firm in the race for Champions League. Aston Villa, Liverpool, Chelsea are all below them in those spots, fighting it out. Brentford, Everton and Newcastle just below them. Bournemouth's point sees them go level with Newcastle. And then at the bottom of the table, Spurs and Nottingham Forest separated by just 1 point ahead of them meeting, while West Ham are level with Forest as well. Burnley and Wolves make up the bottom 3. Well, what a way to start off match week 31 in the Premier League. It was goalless